Okay, Steph. Looks like we got another one down here. This is the Stromberg Carlson that you brought to my attention yesterday. And it did everything you said it would. It just, you turn it on and it doesn't do anything. Or it didn't do anything. I did manage to get it working. Now I'll tell you what's going on with this, and I think we've got some decisions to make about how we proceed further with it. Okay, anyway, I'll give you the rundown on what the problem was. Okay, see this thing here? That thing there? Let's see, let me point to it with a screwdriver. This thing here looks kind of like a transformer, doesn't it? I mean, it's metal. It's, you know, got the nice rounded corners like some transformers do. And that's what I thought it was when I started looking at this thing. And as it turns out, it's not. What it is... Okay, you see all the tar in here. What it is, in fact, is essentially it's a king-size version of one of those Philco capacitor blocks. I mean, this thing is full of bypass caps. And what I did, what was happening that was causing it to not work, was that the connection to this capacitor block, or this part of the capacitor block, is shorted to ground. Apparently the cap inside the block is shorted. And what that was doing was it was causing almost no voltage to appear on this cap here, which is the lower voltage B+ line. As a result, all of the IF stages were not working. Curiously enough, the oscillator was working. I was able to determine that by putting another radio next to it. So what I did was I took that part of the block and I put a terminal strip on it. You know, just soldered a terminal strip on, and I put a bypass cap here to ground, and there's a resistor that also goes here, which is a little hard to see, but it's a 10K ohm resistor. And that basically substitutes for the function of what was connected to that block that is now shorted. Now all the other caps in that block appear to be functioning normally. I'm not sure if we want to go to the trouble of replacing any of those, although I would consider that a best practice in most cases. I'm not sure we want to do it in this case because there's so many connections. Look at that rat's nest of wires. There's so many connections, and the tar that they got in there is a really soft tar that's just nasty. It got all over all my tools. It got all over my soldering iron. Whenever I touched anything to it, it would just migrate over to the tip. It's just awful stuff. As I say, it seems to be working fine now, but we need to really decide whether we want to go any further with this or not. You know, replacing the remainder of the caps. There's probably like 3 or 4 of them in that block. Anyway, the moment of truth, you get to hear how it plays. Here we go.
Kneeling or raising their fist, and that's all great, but you do have to go back and go into the community and do things. I'm a big non-meeting guy. People love meetings, right, to talk about things. Let's talk about what we're going to. I believe she was coughing a lot.
Modesto, Preview Magic, live in concert, Shankar Ehsan Loy, with Farhan.
Maybe this is what he heard, was that after you start to get treated with antibiotics, within a day or so, you're not as contagious.
Change, take the next step in this, and at this point, the tour the fat is San Francisco's Golden Gate Park.
My name is John Yates. I am the nonprofit liaison with.
Now the Giants need a hit or another cardinal mistake. Pitcher Reyes with his own throwing error to put both runners in scoring position here. Eduardo Nunez is on deck.
Putting it on the shortwave band just for the hell of it.
I had a little trouble hearing him at first, but then the band changed or something changed. Yeah, the Globe King 500. Boy, oh boy, now that is really a nice transmitter. A Globe King 500. I wouldn't mind grabbing one of those somewhere, but they're probably pretty expensive if they're in good shape. I had a friend here in Madeira, just north of me. He had a Globe King 400. He had a Globe King 400, and that was pretty nice.
That's the hand bands you're listening to.
Anyway, N7JW to take it. K6PKO. Yeah, K6PKO. And the group. 6S. Hello, Bill. Get you down here. Hey. Yes, I don't know who's got the Globe King 500. Yeah. N7 Juliet Whiskey in St. George, Utah, and the handle is Gem. For anybody who doesn't know. And yeah, I got a heterodyne on here too. It's pretty strong, Bill. And it's fluttering. Almost sounds like a foreign broadcast station. So I don't know. Certainly signals don't seem to be up to what they were last week.
Okay. You'll note that when I switch the band there, that the brightness of the it's got this kind of cool feature on it where when you switch the band, it changes what part of the band the dial lights up. That's kind of cool. You'll notice though that when you switch it to the shortwave band, the light is dimmer than the other one. The reason for that is I don't have there was no bulb in there, and I did not have a 6 volt Edison based bulb, which is a type 46. I didn't have any of those in my stock, so I used a 12 volt one instead, which will work, but it's just dim. Anyway, that's the scoop.